Well, the barbaric incident has also put the focus on the agencies that recruit women. Not all of them, of course, are legal, and many of them into illegal human trafficking. According to the latest crime figures, more girls and women are being trafficked from India than ever before. Here's the report.
A domestic helps hands hacked off, allegedly by her female employer in Saudi Arabia's Riyadh city. And a Saudi diplomat booked for raping and torturing 2 women as domestic helps in Delhi. Incidents like these are highlighting the role of human traffickers in setting up vulnerable to such cruel treatment. Each year, their networks send thousands of women to countries like Gulf. Young girls and adult women both are equally vulnerable in their hands.
Migrant laborers who are going from one state to another in search of work, they get trafficked because they don't have access to government machinery to understand their rights. It's just the profits. There are huge profits to be made from using labor, which is, you're not going to pay them good wages. You're going to pay them very poor, or sometimes you don't pay them any wages at all.
Immoral trafficking makes up for 76% of the trade. 3,351 such crimes were filed in 2014. The trade in minor girls went up from 237 in 2009 to 2,025 in 2013.
We have people brought to India from other border states, countries like Nepal, Myanmar, Bangladesh, and also that it is also keeping these women here, young girls and children, and also there is a transit because they then are transited through Nepal, Pakistan border and other areas to other countries. So it's a really very, very special situation that we are in India.
Overall, human trafficking has expanded over the last 10 years. Tamil Nadu leads with 9,701 cases, followed by Andhra Pradesh with 5,861 cases, Karnataka with 5,443, West Bengal 4,190 and Maharashtra 3,628 cases.
We believe that victims need to get holistic help and support from the government and the larger community. For this, the government should ensure and enhance the benefits that they have access to so that they don't fall prey to unscrupulous elements, recruiters, contractors, so that they have livelihood options.
Trafficking of young girls carries punishment from 3 years in prison to life imprisonment. The biggest problem is the conviction rate. The last 5 years have seen only 23% such cases end in conviction. On to Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
In fact, Dr. Tina Kuriakose, R&D specialist at the International Justice Commission, joining us in studio as well this evening. Doctor, if we could just talk about the Saudi Arabia incident firstly. Just less than a month back, Saudi Arabia, in fact, was chosen to head a panel of the UNHRC. That in itself, of course, coming with a lot of negative criticism against that move, but that in itself also shows the kind of juxtaposition as far as human trafficking or human rights violations are concerned, that the UNHRC also chooses a country like Saudi Arabia to head an influential panel.
Yeah, Tracy, the recent incident of the maid's hand being chopped is it reminds me of another case which happened in 2013, and this is a case which is running with the Supreme Court right now. It's the palm chopping case of 2 migrant laborers who were from Odisha and were violently abused by an employer. Yes, it is true that cross-border international migration has significant vulnerabilities, but the recent US TIP report, Trafficking in Persons report of 2015 says that 90% of India's trafficking problem is internal. So I really, I want to congratulate the government for putting its foot down and saying that stern action must be taken. This act of violence against a poor woman should be treated as attempt to murder. And we look forward to a similar effort being taken internally also. Recently, the Ministry of Home Affairs, through the National Consultation on Trafficking, has has really shown its commitment to dealing with these issues, and we really look forward to more solutions on this.
But, you know, like the report just before we started speaking also cited that such incidents, despite the fact that there's a lot more awareness about issues like this, there's a lot more centers where victims can actually reach out to, the number, of course, of human trafficking rising. What is the cause? What's the reason of all this?
Yes. There are many reasons, Tracy. The fact that you have a poor woman going from southern India to the Middle East, a country where she would not have access to her family, will not have access to people outside. There's something that's driving her to a country such as this. And that's a similar story for Indians who move from state to state.
Yes.
It's poverty, it's hope for a different future. It's someone giving that hope but exploiting them in the process. Bonded labor, trafficking, these are similar stories. It's a borderless organized crime, and we need to deal with it.
Absolutely. And also speaking about awareness and, you know, about such centers, are there enough, according to at least as what you see, are there enough across various states, at least in India, for people of, you know, people who are suffering in this manner to reach out to? And is there also a need on a one-on-one level? I mean, for example, if I see something happening in a neighbor's house, to actually come out and report and, you know, somebody taking it seriously as well?
Definitely, Tracy. I mean, it's very often easy for us to say that the government must do a better job and we need more infrastructure. But just creating more infrastructure is not the solution. There is definitely a place for capacity building. Say, for instance, the government recently in its consultation has said that anti-human trafficking units have to build capacity to deal with the problem. You need dedicated staff. But the communities, the people who fail to recognize these problems, we have a role to play. And if we work and assist the government, I'm sure that we are looking to a brighter future, that justice for the poor will be possible.
Absolutely. You couldn't have put it right. Dr. Tina Kuriakose, thanks so much for joining us, helping us understand this story further. Like we're pointing out, of course, it's going to take years for this problem to get sorted out, but one step at a time,
Thank
I
you
guess,
so much.
at least.